call to order the meeting of the Village of Sandalwood Lake South for Thursday, March the 19th, 2020. Roll call. Well, first of all, let me look at this thing, how Randall might have it done different.
No, opening of the meeting and roll
Proof
call.
of notice of the meeting?
Well, you do roll call.
Okay.
Opening and meeting and roll call.
Okay, so Chris Christoph.
Present.
Joe Costello.
Here.
Natalia Franklin.
Here.
Mary Lou Barnes.
Present.
Okay. It's going to be an abbreviated meeting. There's two issues that I feel is important to help us stay ahead of the curve on having control of the association and also to prevent lawsuits. So I'm not going to do a president's report. We're not going to. We'll give Randall a little bit of time. Briefly, manager's report.
But you want to do verification proof of notice, right?
Yeah, we're going to do that. So, where's all the dates? Okay, right here.
Oh, you didn't bring a copy of the agenda?
I got a copy, yeah.
Randall, speak louder, okay? Because you always speak so quiet.
Not on my tape.
All right.
I listened to your tape too. I had to listen to both of them.
I'm going to make a motion that we approve the minutes that Randall got caught up on for December the 19th, 2019. Everybody should have got them and had a chance to read them with a few errors in spelling, which is understandable at the time Randall was working on this.
So the motion is to approve with the adjustments that were mentioned previously.
I already,
Okay.
I already did that.
Yeah, I assume they were fixed, but...
Okay.
Have they been corrected, all those?
I sent them to you all. I revised them and
Well,
sent
I
them.
didn't get it, okay?
Okay,
I
what?
had to leave the office at 4.
Oh, I did it at like 2.
Okay.
Yes,
No,
it's-
I didn't get it.
Whenever you sent it, I got it immediately because I was sitting in front of the computer.
Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't get
but
it.
it's no
didn't
big
get a
deal.
copy of
You'll
the
get it.
correction.
It'll be there for you when you go back, but he made the corrections, so I'm making a motion we approve the December minutes.
I second.
All in favor?
I have to abstain since I didn't see it.
Okay. So it passed.
Over a spelling.
It's passed 4-3. One abstain.
4-3.
4-3.
4-1. Okay. January meeting, January the 16th, 2020. I make a motion we approve those minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
Second.
Second, yeah.
All in favor?
Favor, yeah.
Aye.
Abstain?
4-1.
Oh, it's actually
Abstain is
4-0.
not
It's 4-0.
It's 4-0.
4-0. The annual meeting, I told Randall I'll take care of that. I haven't had a chance yet. It was brief. We'll approve that at the next meeting. I make a motion that we approve the minutes for February the 20th, 2020.
I'm second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain? It doesn't matter. I didn't.
Okay, the March special meeting.
Excuse me a minute. Randall should have put a
First of
copy.
all, we're going to have protocol. You'll speak when you're
But
recognized.
I'm just saying you're forcing me to abstain because Randall should have brought a copy of the corrected meeting minutes to us tonight.
It's
Not all of them had to be corrected,
2
by the
months.
way.
2 months needed
Okay,
to be
well,
corrected.
we had 4 of them here.
spelling, as far as I'm concerned,
I-
spelling errors
That's your
are not
problem.
corrections.
I had them.
It doesn't matter.
He sent
We
them to me, and I'm sure he sent them to everybody
We
else.
have always been given updated
No,
meetings.
nobody's here to give
I'm
you
gonna
anything
tell you
except
what,
you're supposed to have
Mary
an
Lou.
access to
The
them.
days are over when everybody in the meeting's screaming, and you mark my words, you're going to be signing a code of ethics, and anybody that violates them is going to be censured and won't have a voice on the board. And that's coming at the next meeting, so be prepared. We're going to run it like the Robert's rules, and I'm tired of all the silliness that goes on at these meetings.
I'd love to mail some of your emails out to the general public.
Go ahead. I have nothing to be ashamed of. And if that's the best you can come up with, shame on you. All right, I'm going to make a motion that we approve the minutes of the March special meeting that we held. Anybody second?
Yeah, I second.
All in favor?
Yeah.
I'm in favor of that as well.
Okay. My report is going to be addressing what your questions have been. The February financials, has anybody had a chance to look at them?
May I speak up at this point, sir?
Anybody have a problem with them?
Mary Lou wants to.
Mary Lou?
Yes, I advised Jeannie Smith earlier today that the ones that she sent us or the ones that I got, only had one part, something on the subject line. I can't think of the word, but it was only one, and one attachment on the subject line. The first ones I got today, I emailed her back saying I was missing a few different categories. She resent them out to me with 5 attachments. So she also
Yeah, that was like
acknowledged
yesterday.
the fact that the new company that we're using for payroll and all, whatever, is not presenting the financials to us in the same way as previous banks have, and she's going to speak to them about that. For example, in none of our attachments did we get a photocopy of all the checks, whom they were made out to, and who signed them, and we have always gotten those. And Jeannie acknowledged that and said she will be seeing if we get those going forward. And there were a couple of other issues as well, but I'm hoping that she re-forwarded to all of you where there were 5 attachments.
Yeah, she did that like yesterday.
Yeah, the 5
No,
attachments.
but I didn't get it, you see. It went screwy. So she and I talked back and forth a few times by email today. She finally got them to go through to me. And we don't know why. But it was on her end, my end, whatever. Who knows what's going on now. But when I got them, which was late this afternoon, is when I saw where certain things needed to be adjusted. And she said she would take care of it going forward.
Can I ask a question? We somehow, if I maybe misunderstand, we little over budget for legal. Did you see that, or
What?
why we over budget on for this month on legal? Did you see that?
I haven't. No. Are you talking about what she's referring to from Rosin's invoice, an old invoice
No,
dated
it just it was I think second page where they say how much we spend on what we spend, like legal expenses, office expenses. They sure look like a way
Legal.
over budget, $4,500 something. Did you?
I haven't had a chance to even look at them, but
Somebody, we need treasury somehow. We need
but you're pointing out that the legal line,
a legal
line item is over budget.
Over $4,000 for February.
Actually, I don't know how that could be because I haven't gotten a bill from Rosin yet. This is 3 months.
But it's maybe January bills or something.
I haven't gotten a
But
bill
what-
from him for
okay.
3 months
I
that I've been
don't
doing
have
this.
to see that, but need just look at. If
I'll
you
ask-
have
I'll
a
ask
chance,
her about
please
it.
Look at that.
Okay, well, I'll look at it as well. Legal.
But if you talk to Rosin, I haven't said anything, but I have not gotten an invoice from him the entire time, and he certainly has done a bunch of stuff. The only thing that has popped up.
Did you see that?
The only thing that has
I
popped
didn't
up
further
is
see
this
that one, no.
invoice that is obviously was given to GRS because it was dated 12/31. So it must have went, to. Well, actually, I can't say that. It was dated 12/31. Maybe it didn't. But anyway, he's just now getting it. He sent it to Jeannie, the general ledger. I have not received one piece of paper from him regarding his, what he does.
Okay, but you just look at that line where there's office expenses, legal expenses, all these things. It shows. Look.
Yeah,
I'll take a look at it and ask her
Because I see,
what she
that I
knows.
I also know moving forward, we had talked about the first 2 months that finances were going to be late because she's moving a whole new system. Do we have any idea as to when we're going to start receiving the financial package?
Oh, a little bit earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah, she kind of keeps promising that she typically says she has them out by the 10th of the month.
Right.
But these 2 months, she's only done 2 months.
Right.
And both of them, the one was a crazy transition period, it was crazy.
Right.
This, now she's kind of saying because her kids' school closed down for a month, she's been dealing with a lot of stuff with that, and she just, apologized, a lot, that she didn't get them to us that timely, but she typically, generally, in her work is what she does is she gets them out by the 10th. So
Okay.
all I can say is for her, on her behalf, is that what she says, that she, plans
Okay.
trying to get them out by the 10th,
Okay.
of each month.
And she said that to me today too.
Yeah.
That this is just
It's been a little crazy,
having the kids be home just was a,
Yeah. Well, she's had to shut the office down too.
yes.
All right. Randall, do you want to do a brief manager's report?
Okay, yeah. Actually, turns out
But
to
what
be.
we will do about treasury? We don't have treasurer. We will do
Well, that's
anything
kind of
or-
where I put February's financials review because we can't have a treasurer's report because we don't have a treasurer. So, that's why I put financials review if you want to talk about it.
We don't have a lot of time for that this meeting, so.
Well, I can just kind of get you updated on a couple things. Fences, the new guys are actually performing fairly well. There's just the two of them, and they're kind of gotten their crap together somewhat as far as the work-wise. They still have some issues with their logistics because he doesn't have a car and all this kind of stuff. But he's busting his butt and they're doing pretty good. Mark is kind of flailing again because he lost his sprayer guy, and he has a brother down there today who's kind of like comes maybe once, twice a week with him. His pressure cleaner guy would be gone anyway as planned, but he had done a bunch of pressure cleaning out in front of him. So, but it's moving along. Parking, I kind of mentioned in previous reports that I really want to get aggressive with the parking because it's a crazy issue. Lots of issues with the parking. We had to, I can make all the threats in the world, and I've been tagging cars at night, 8 o'clock at night, weekends, because it's amazing what you find when you ride around here on those off, not between the hours of 9 and 5, what you find on nights and weekends. And so I've been tagging cars left and right, but they just take them off the car and just do the same thing. I just tagged a U-Haul truck for the second time, but they're just idle threats if I cannot actually tow the car. So we had to, I don't know if Larry's done it yet, but you have to get with Sheehan Towing. There's a contract, because we're under contract with Sheehan Towing. So he as the president has the authority, but now that there's a new management, then he has to get me as an authorized person as well. And that requires just printing some paperwork and signing it and getting it back, correct?
Correct.
All right. So,
May I ask how many warnings you'll issue before you tow? 2 or 3?
depends on the situation,
Well, we used to have a rule on that. I just wondered.
Well, there's no standing rule in my eye.
Well,
I don't
the way
want to.
the-
I want to know is, I kind of do some due diligence before I even put the first sticker on.
Right.
I'll talk to somebody perhaps, or just watch, get a visual on what's going on. And if they're going to be defiant with a first, because we got our information, I even say, hey, call me for a remedy. I want them to talk to me. I want to have face-to-face or a phone call. This way we can speak, and you got somebody who I can hold accountable. Like they can give me whatever the excuse is, or whatever there is no excuse. Okay, we'll take care of it, that kind of thing. So it's kind of a case-by-case basis.
Well, may I just mention
I can't get
that
through a
tonight
report.
when I left, Bill Burns, I witnessed him back a car, one of his cars, into a parking spot, a guest parking space, and one of his other Mercedes that he's bought these used Mercedes, another one was parked in one of his guest space, and a third car was parked in his owner's space, and the third car was parked in.
Like I said, I'm
So
going to start
he's-
getting aggressive now that I've kind of got somewhat organized.
I mean, he's
and
just one.
Like I said, it's just idle threats if I can't tow the car. So right now,
We'll be towing them.
So
Vote on that, Larry?
We'll be telling them, what we've been doing is we give them a warning, and if it's a first offender, we'll give them another warning, and then the third time, it's a tow.
Great.
If they're habitual, they get a warning and then a tow.
Okay. Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
so and
Because
then
all they need to do is contact
Exactly.
Or the board
They
can explain
are.
what their situation is.
We all know that it goes on throughout the community, and these people are simply defiant.
Right.
So
I got.
I don't have
got
much
new
mercy on
homeowners
the
are just.
people who
Now,
defy
what are
us.
you doing in the case of renters, where it's the renters violating? Are you contacting the owner?
The owner gets contacted. Yes.
Okay. So Patrick Udelhoffen has been contacted about Bill Burns.
No, I
He
have
most
not yet.
certainly has, and
Not from
I'm
me.
surprised.
Randall just said he hasn't.
Well,
I have.
I told him,
Oh,
and I'm surprised that he still does it, because Patrick's usually on top of his tenants about it. But I'll mention it to him again tomorrow, because he had a
parking-
lot going on. He came up with all his deposits, and
It's a parking violation right there.
yeah.
Motorcycle.
Well, he sold his motorcycle.
No,
I meant like literally right there.
That right there,
Oh,
right there, across the way.
yeah, yeah.
So anyway, we're getting more aggressive with that.
Basically,
All right.
2 warnings for first offenders before they're towed.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not out to tow their car.
I know that.
We're out to remedy the situation. If they're an owner of 6610 and 6612 has an extra space, and they want to check with 6612 to see if they can park there, if they authorize it, we need a copy of the authorization.
Exactly.
We're not
And
taking
name,
anybody's
the
word
license,
for it.
make, model, and license plate of the car.
I've already gotten
Right.
one letter
Okay,
from
guys,
an owner.
go to agenda. We discuss
Right,
much
yeah,
the same
so-
question.
So, all right, real quick, I just wanted to reiterate that I really would love to talk about pest control next month. I hope you guys are interested in that.
Yeah.
And the last thing I can come up with right now is the landscaping. The last cut for Brightview is on the 19th, and then Islander will be starting April 1st.
Okay, and then I got
19th.
yeah, and I got one thing on landscaping for Randall.
Today's the 19th.
Right.
They were out earlier today.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have one thing for Randall on landscaping. Near 62, what's your unit number?
6204.
6204. AT&T was in there doing some work.
that's
They
where I put some.
resodded it.
That's where I put some sod down.
It's all dead.
Well, it needs, then water needs to get on it.
It's so
I mean, it hasn't
obviously
rained
it's
at
not
all,
yet-
but I'll have to talk to Image about,
So make a note of that. 'cause
I've been
that-
using my own hose for, there was a couple places, I can't even begin to, I can't take up the time
Yeah.
of what happened out in front of my place from some other,
May I give you a final
Whack
story
owner.
on Brightview today? They cut the new sod you were kind enough to put in front of my hedge. They cut it today. Someone's planted one last week. They cut it today, and they left this much dirt
I told them
On
not
the
to run
sidewalk.
over any new sod.
right along the sidewalk. Was all the dirt, and when they edged and blew, they didn't blow it away. It's filthy.
I mean,
they're
the day
gone.
they're fired
They're gone,
anyway, so.
yeah.
Well,
it doesn't
we
matter.
know, and they did everything but get on their hands and knees and beg me and Randall not
I
to
know.
drop them.
I know.
And I'm walking up Cumberland today, and there's a spot right along the sidewalk on Cumberland North, that wide they didn't even touch with the lawnmower.
But do you know a problem with sod? They often, when they put new sod, they cover the sprinkles. This is what happened on 65th Way. You
sprinklers,
remember?
yes,
They
they
cover
covered mine.
sprinkles.
They covered
It's almost dry all until you take care of that situation. You remember?
Okay.
Did Image check mine? It's sitting under one of the squares of sod.
I asked him to. I'll have to go, I'll go take a look.
Yeah, I mean, if I could lift up the
What's
sod.
the next
I'd show you.
agenda, Larry?
Okay, now we're going to move on to the adoption of these rules and regulations. I'm here to answer any of your questions, but the rules and regulations as they are written that way for a reason. That's why we pay an attorney. If we do it in some ways that were suggested, we're leaving ourselves wide open for problems. So, these 99% of them are not new. These are rules that were adopted by the board over the years. This should have been titled Consolidation of Rules and Regulations into a usable format. We had rules and regulations from 1987, from 1986, from whatever year, all separate. So Randall and I thought it's too confusing, and I talked to CAMS about this, and they were supposed to clear it up. They didn't. GRS was supposed to clear it up. They didn't. So now that we're self-managed, I said it's time to clear it up. We have too many people, and Natalia brought up a good point about somebody that has more than 2 dogs that are small. Those aren't the ones we need to worry so much about. We need to worry about the people with the big dogs. But we have a limit of 2. It's in our rules and regulations. It's in our documents.
Limit of
Limit
two.
of
Say only one.
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 Yeah.
Well, yeah. I thought you could have 2.
No, one. That's what's
It's say
ridiculous.
one.
One pet.
All right.
It's not right.
Okay,
you
so
know.
I
No more
was
than
under
20
the
pounds
impression.
of maturity,
Yeah.
which
One
I'm not
per
crazy
unit
about.
weighing no more than 20 pounds.
Okay.
Period.
At maturity.
It's been a while since I looked
At
at it.
maturity.
Yeah, it's
Yes, oh yes, at maturity. Yes.
it's been a while since I looked at it, so okay, it's 1. When people buy in here, or when they rent in here, that's all pointed out to them. But they've been going through 50 pages, and it's easy for them to just slough it off and not read it. That's why we wanted to make it shorter, and concise, so that they can't use that as an excuse I didn't know, because it's very clear, and they're going to sign it so we can enforce it. The big dogs, until the government changes their policies, we can't deny some of these people if they're service animals or if they're emotional support animals.
Well, how about this real quick question, because I emailed you this before I forget. I just got a question yesterday. A potential tenant that wants to come in has 2 service dogs. They're big, but 2 of them, and they're service animals. So I haven't gotten to the point whether I saw documentation, but the point is they have 2 service dogs, which that's not pets. By law, a service animal is not a pet. But my question is, they have 2.
Yeah, why do they need to?
Why we not change
Don't know. That's what I
the
wanted.
2? Because many people
need to know
have
more about
cat
that.
and dog.
Right.
I think that's something Ross would have to look into, honestly.
Right.
Because that
We're
seems
gonna-
like
We got to be
battery,
careful.
battery.
We got to be careful with this, because if we don't, we could then end up in trouble with the government. So we don't want that. But we do require, and we have the right to require, documentation from a certified psychologist, doctor, or other medical professional. We can't just arbitrarily take these ones they print out online. If you get one like that, tell them we need something from a doctor.
Well, I see ones from a doctor, but it's just signed Dr. So-and-so MD, but, or,
We need
you know,
Is it on his letterhead?
we need something from a doctor on his letterhead showing his office address and
Any-
phone number.
so we can
And so
call.
we can call them and confirm it.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Either that or certify it. Ask him
Yeah.
to have it certified.
But is that violating any
No, I'm
HIPAA
gonna go-
laws,
I'm
like
gonna go through
privacy,
some of these
calling to
things.
verify?
I'm going to go through some of these things, and then if you still have questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
But-
Family unit is on that sheet of paper that I gave 3 sheets of paper that I gave everybody from Rawson. And as I said in my response in my email yesterday, it's a case-by-case basis. There's no self-encompassing rule that defines family units. There's too many variations. You can't possibly cover them all and still be protected. One that Chris brought up was a family unit who has foster children. If we include foster children in the documents, we're leaving ourselves wide open to somebody who has 6 and wants to move into our community.
No, because we have a limit as to how many people can live in a townhouse.
But
Not
if
in a
you
family.
say that you're accepting foster children,
no more than 4.
you can't, like Rawson said, and like I said before I even talked to Rawson, it's common sense. There's so many variations, it has to be on a case-by-case basis, and when we get something, Rawson will decide whether we should accept or we have the legal right to decline. You can't just leave yourself open for these things. If you say children, and they come back and they have 3 or 4 even, that's unreasonable for the size of our units. So we, as it says in that paperwork that I gave you, the state of Florida gives the board of directors a lot of authority on what we do in our decision-making process, as long as it's reasonable. And it's very reasonable to say to somebody, you have too many children for the size of the unit, we cannot allow you in the community. So that's regarding that situation. Now, Chris also had a question on return of security deposits. The one thing that maybe Chris doesn't realize is the security deposits don't come from the tenants. They come from the unit owners. We are a governing body of the association. Your question was a very good question when you're dealing landlord-tenant.
Okay. So because the deposits come from the owners...
They come from the owner, and we're a governing body.
Okay.
We don't come under those same rules.
Okay.
So we give them back. We don't want them.
Right.
But what happens is a tenant moves out and he has another one coming in. It creates a nightmare for our accounting office to issue a refund check and then ask them for another one.
Right.
It stays on account until they either sell the unit or they quit renting it and move back into it, or they use it all up in violations and fines and owe us another $1,000. That's the way it works.
But, may I ask a question?
Yes.
Our governing documents do address, unless they've been modified and I don't have that year with me here, but they do address the maximum number of people allowed to live in each unit.
It says
So
4
how can they
adults.
have- yeah, so
Up
how
to
can
4
they have
adults.
4 children and 2 adults. That's 6 people.
I understand that. That's why I'm saying
We can't get in trouble because we're enforcing our governing documents
Exactly.
that are on file with the state or the city or whatever.
right, unless we say we accept families with foster children.
Providing there's no more than 2 foster children, because the
Mary
can't have
Lou,
more than 4
listen.
people.
I listen to Rawson because he is the expert. He says you're leaving yourself open for trouble. Why do it? It's a case-by-case basis. We don't get that many that want to move in with foster children. What if they're grandparents that want to move in? Each case, that's why we have Randall screening these people. That's why there's background checks. We're trying to make it too cumbersome and then in the process creating loopholes. Now, there was another one, Chris, I think you had another question.
They had the question about the orientation interview or something. That was on the letter that was sent to me.
Okay, yeah, I gave you a letter on the orientation. So, Natalia, did you have any questions that I didn't answer?
Yes, I have a question about animals. Because of many people has cat in dog or bird or some another, how we can tell them now you have only 1 pet, and if a person moving they have cat and dog, cat all the time at home, why we cannot put 2 pets? We too much policing. You all pet owners, you know what is it if you have cat or dog, you love them like your own child, and you behave like now, look like you have no heart.
It's been in our governing documents, though. It's not. That's not.
But we amended. We can vote. We can change.
But it has to be an amendment.
Number one, we're not going to make anybody euthanize their pets. That's not our function. But if they have pets, it's their responsibility to clean up after them
Yeah,
and that to make sure they're not a nuisance to their neighbor. Emotional support and
service animal.
service animals are a case-by-case basis.
But he did not. He removed that. In another question, remove hurricane shutters in 15 days. It's impossible. I have thick steel shutters. What very
That
difficult
was the
to
one
use.
I wanted you to speak.
Yeah,
That's the one I was
we
thinking of.
never ever discussed 15 days. You have good memory
All right,
if you're honest with people.
first of all, let me tell you the
We
way.
don't even talk about 30 days.
All right, this is the way we do it. If there's a violation, they get a violation letter. When they get that violation letter, we give them 15, sometimes 30 days to correct the problem.
So that means they have up to
So there is a month and a half.
But why put something what we never vote, we never amend? Why lie? Why put these
Because-
things? People upset about that because I will not be able
This is
to
a
remove
matter
every 15 days. You saw my picture.
You don't
I will
have
do
to.
it again.
It's in our bylaws.
All right, first of all, they get plenty of time to correct the problem. Sometimes, even after 45 days, we'll go back and say, you've got 15 more, and it better be
But
corrected.
why put in rules if we don't have? We never have, we never vote for that. Why lie? Why put it in rules?
So I looked it up after you wrote the
That-
email.
We
It's-
never
it's-
have that.
It's in the governing documents.
It's in
Yeah.
the
Where?
governing
What
documents,
document?
Natalia.
It's in the original
It is.
when I bought
Where?
my.
In 2004, I sent you that.
This issue.
Yeah.
I sent you that. We don't
I
have
don't,
15
I don't know if
days.
it's in the 2000. I just know it's in
It's
the
in the documents. Read your documents.
15 days
Here.
never was there.
This is why we established the violation committee. That even gives them more time.
That's
Natalia, I don't know why all these people pick on you. I never hear from anybody.
Well, you're lucky because
I talk with people sending me email, asking questions. Yeah, this may because of
Can
days.
I
Not
interject?
everybody
Yes,
has,
it's okay. We're going to let Joe address
Yes,
it.
I
okay.
read this, and one of the questions I had, the way that thing read, the 15 days, okay, was that after a hurricane, okay, those shutters have 15 days to be taken down. My question is, if we're in hurricane season and people put their shutters up and they leave them up for the extent of the hurricane season, I don't think we have a rat's chance in hell of making them take them down. It's first of all,
I'll
it's a lot of
disagree with you on that,
expense.
but go ahead.
A lot of expense. Some of these, the old corrugated ones that they put up, okay? I don't like the wood. If it was up to me, I wouldn't have had to put up, plywood on the windows. I think that looks terrible. But the corrugated are even more cumbersome, okay? But we gotta, if it's within the hurricane season, I don't think we should be telling people to take them down.
Here's the only way we can't make them take them down. As long as someone's living in the unit, we can make them take them down. And this is why.
Go ahead.
If there's a fire in that unit and they can't get out and they burn to death, their family can sue us for not
Very
making them
good
take
point.
the shutter down.
Very good point.
But
Oh my
also,
God.
okay.
if I may
will
make
not
Secondly,
remove them in 15 days, you will kill me.
Natalia, I said you'll have a chance to speak. The only way we cannot make them take them down is if they're seasonal people and they come and they decide that they're going home the end of April and they want to put their shutters up and they'll take them down when they come back at the end of November. We cannot prevent them from protecting their property.
That's the people I'm talking about. Okay.
They can stay up as long as no one's living in the unit.
snowbirds.
If someone's living in that unit, we're asking for trouble if we don't make them take them down. Go ahead, Mary Lou.
Here with this, Natalia. Okay, so number 9 in these new revised and restated rules and regulations. Number 9 states this: hurricane shutters may be put up if there has been a hurricane watch issued for Palm Beach County. All shutters must be taken down within 15 days once a storm has passed. If you are going to be making an exception for snowbirds who are not down here and the unit is empty, you need to state that in this number 9. You need to clarify number 9. Because all shutters are not necessarily going to have to go
Only
down.
if the unit's being lived in, I'll have him make that
Yes,
change.
thank you. It
I
has to
was
say
just
if the
wondering,
unit is
if
empty.
I may, I was just wondering, your point about no egress from the balcony, okay, being able to escape a unit if the windows are boarded up. The fire department has to have some jurisdiction on this, and I think if we go to them, and I'm more than willing to walk over there and talk to one of the chiefs, if there is such a law, then what we can ask them to do is do a mailing in or give us something that we could mail to our resident owners to let them
Well,
know.
Joe,
that
it's
it is a
I don't
law.
know that it is a law. But we're not a separate homeowner. If we're a homeowner and we leave our shutters up all year round and there's a fire there and they burn to death, that's on them.
Right.
As an association, we're governing these units and we're supposed to be smart enough to tell them if you're living in there,
Okay.
you can't leave them up.
Okay, then let me just make this suggestion. I made the point because I read that clearly, and I read it just the way she indicated. 15 days after the hurricane, they have to come down, okay?
Right.
But if you're in hurricane season, you're having it throughout. Some of our residents, the expense of putting up shutters, okay, is something that's not cheap and might be a financial problem for them, okay? So I'm thinking if they want to come, we can notify them, and then they petition us for forbearance for whatever the reason may be. But to leave them up all year round when the hurricane season's over, that would be a no-no.
No. But I don't talk about that because, you know, when hurricane pass, we always remove one sheet that you can always escape through balcony. Well, why make people more difficult, more stress?
Well, and the point we're talking about with snowbirds, they can't be flying down here every time there's a
They
hurricane.
don't have to if the place is vacant.
Right.
They can leave the shutters
Right.
up.
Well, that,
But here's
and that
there's
works.
something that you're not also considering is that it's in our documents that the association, if in an emergency, has the right to enter the property.
All you have
That's
to
in
do
our.
is go in the front door.
Let
Any
me
fireman can take it
finish
down.
my point, and
Take it in.
you wouldn't be saying this. The association has the authority to enter the premises.
Right.
Now, how can they enter the premises if it's all locked up with shutters, and if nobody's living there?
Kick in the
Are we
door.
talking
Because-
about the front door being
Yeah, the
also
front door,
shuttered?
front
also?
door is open.
Sure. You know,
Well,
because
that's a-
if there's
that's
a,
a well
and when
point,
I
yes.
think about, you know, the association has the authority, meaning in an emergency, like a fire, they need to get inside there
The door.
because a fire.
Can affect the other 3 units.
Yeah, I mean, a fire could be
That
going
is a
up.
very good point.
But it's door. They
No,
don't
I-
put shutters on door. You
I
just
see
open
shutters
the door,
on
break
doors.
door, you go
I see
inside
the
if it's
shutters on
fire.
doors. Oh,
Yeah,
I've never
the
seen
front door, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
No,
I've
they
seen
have
that.
no.
Well, first of all, we're not here to second guess the owner. We're here to make sure that things are done the right way.
Yeah, but 15 days it never was mentioned.
Well, first of all, Natalia, again, it's a violation. They get a notice. They get 15
no,
days
I
to
don't
correct
need
it.
to get notice.
What
I
I'm going to
will wait.
do,
15 days, we never had 15 days. Never
What-
described it.
you don't. You still have up to 45.
Everybody look like it was memory, guys. You young guys, why are you talking about? We never talk about 15 days. When we
Am I
did
included in
amendment.
that young
I
guy?
will spend time
No, but in my handwritten notes, I don't have that here.
collected signature for that amendment.
Makes me feel
Natalia, it's 15 days. They
But
get
we
a
did not
notice.
have that.
Then they got 30 days to correct it. That's 45 days. Now, I think what should be added to that is, in addition to what Mary Lou said, unless, if it's lived in by an owner and there's an impending storm coming, like another one right behind the first one.
But another one.
But if
can
if
come
there's
in
a
29
storm
days.
and there's no other storms out there, you have
Yes,
50,
but Mr. Rokas, we remember the situation when, like, in 25 days, another storm coming. We never knew where it's coming.
Yeah.
And I must remove in 15 days, and after break my back, put the shutters back.
Randall said, I'm not putting those lights up for nothing. They're going on.
Okay, mosquitoes come,
Larry, I
come
got
here.
15
No
minutes.
mosquitoes. It's
All
beautiful.
right,
out.
so
That's summertime.
all right, so I'll get that change made on the shutters,
Okay.
and then we'll vote on it based on the changes that we discussed being made.
Can we talk about the draperies, number 11?
Okay, number 11, I'll talk about it. Black is neutral.
Right.
That is not the intent of the rule. Neutral gives you a wide variety of colors
Right.
that aren't offensive. This rule clearly gives us an out because it said anything other than neutral requires board approval. If it's orange, that's not neutral. If it's red, if it's pink, if it's violet, these aren't neutral colors.
But we could say
Light shades.
neutral with white/beige. Those are neutral. Anywhere from white
Well,
to
but
You're
beige.
starting to pick up.
I don't know of anybody who puts black draperies up unless it's
No,
a funeral
it doesn't
home.
matter. It's what the backing is that faces the street.
Yeah, well, there's blackouts that have black backing to keep the sunlight out.
Well, that's what we're saying has never been allowed. It's
It's
always said white backing.
tinted
Mary
with
Lou,
those.
when I look up at those windows and I see those dark screens on there, if there's black draperies, I don't even think you'd notice them.
That's right.
Well, we're talking about purple, orange, whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And those
Uh,
colors
but
require
why can't
board
we
approval, and
just
who's going to approve it?
Expand, which Chris and I talked about, expand on the word, instead of saying neutral, because it turns out now in more modern years, black is part of neutral. Why don't we just say, as long as the backings are white or beige?
Oh my God.
That limits too many people.
But
Why? And it would only be for new ones. We wouldn't force anyone to go spend $1,000 on a new window treatment.
can I
Should
give
be
a
going
suggestion?
forward.
Why we cannot put just a light shades, neutral light shades? Is it what
We can do that if that's going to make
Neutral
everybody
light-
happy.
I wrote everybody neutral
white
light
and beige
shades. It's
are-
all.
are-
It's
That works.
neutral.
I agree with
yeah, yeah. Because I sent everybody. You just not read my mail.
Neutral light colored
Neutral light colors.
Shade.
Yeah. But what about
Backing.
tinting? My window
It's
is
the
black
back,
tint.
yes, it's what
neutral
faces the
light
street.
light shade backing. Okay.
But what about tinting? If people tint window, like my black windows, you tint in white, but it's white behind.
The owners own the glass, so it's kind of hard to prevent them from having them tinted.
Yeah.
They don't.
Okay.
We don't. Association isn't responsible for the glass. So that's tricky.
I'm glad to hear that.
Can they be reflective?
I don't
Mosquito
think the
bite,
documents
Mr.
mention that, but
Rocker.
I mean,
You know,
I'm
she's
too
right.
cheap to have mine done.
It's not in here.
That was my
I'm having about ready to have mine
that was
done,
my
so I
option
wanna
for
know.
hurricane shutters.
The guy's trying to push me on this.
I
before.
put on
I'm not
heavy
getting
heavy
that
gauge
hurricane
mylar,
shutters. After living here for 30
which they
years.
use on commercial buildings.
Okay, so I got the changes. I'll get those made, and based on them being changed,
Did you answer all of Chris? He had several. You addressed Chris. Did he address all your questions?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't hear everything, so that's why I'm asking.
Okay, what do you want to make a motion?
somebody make a motion. We vote on them. That we just
Provided
and
they're going to be changed as discussed.
as discussed.
I'll make a motion that we change the rules and regulations as proposed tonight with the changes that also have been recommended.
Okay, I'll second the motion. All in favor?
I'm
Aye.
against because if we never discuss 15 days, it's very cruel to people. To force them remove shutters.
I'm going to
which is
give
all
them,
this stuff.
Natalia. They always end up with 45.
Yeah, after you start.
I've never got a fine on anybody yet before
No,
45 or 60 days.
Natalia, what I think is reasonable is that if you're given only 15 days, but you get a 30-day warning without it costing
Chris, how
any
did you
money,
vote on that?
then that's
Yes.
45
Okay,
days.
so it
That's
was
reasonable.
1, 2, 3,
Am I right?
4.
There'd be no money enforced.
okay, 4-0. Okay.
Did
Yeah,
I-
we've never given anybody a fine
No. But I'm just saying,
before 60 days.
45 days is fair.
Yeah. And they still get more.
Natalia, you voted no, my dear?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
so that was
So it's
4
4-1.
to 1.
4 aye, 1 nay.
Right.
Not an abstain. Hey, did you correct this?
Okay, now the next issue, and I know Mary Lou's voting no on this one because she's already said so, but I'm going to plead my case. It's our community. We'll live with whatever we decide, but in speaking to Rawson today about pressure washing, it's very critical on slip and falls. We're going into the season. We've got some areas that are very bad as it is. They're going to get worse. If we get them pressure cleaned, it's been 3 years. The last time we had it done was 2017. And I know everybody's concerned about the coronavirus. The sky isn't falling.
Guess what? I know 17 people that have lost their jobs that live in Palm Beach County in the past 5 days.
The sky isn't falling.
No, but we can't be spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on things we could postpone for 3
We're
to
not.
6 months.
We're spending, how much, Randall?
I believe 19,000 was the cheapest. It was 19 and 26.
Oh,
Yeah,
for the pressure cleaning?
$27,000.
Actually, it's 18.5, and then we can take another $1,500, almost $1,500.
Why can't we just put it off for 3 months?
It'll end up being like
Because we're putting off things that are necessary to protect the safety of the people that live in the community.
Power wash the worst streets, the worst sidewalks.
Mary Lou,
That's what we bought.
Did you drive around?
that
See
pressure
I did not see
washer
it.
takes forever to clean a small area.
Gee, he did half of 51st Way
And-
in a day.
Do you know what else? You know what else Rawson told me today? Not only does it need to be done professionally, it has to be done correct. And if we don't have it done professionally, we're liable. If Edward misses a spot or it doesn't do a good enough job and somebody slips and falls, we're in for a lawsuit and they'll win. I don't know why. I just can't stand obstruction.
Okay, I'm going to make you a little wager. I want everyone sitting here tonight that God forbid, come November 1st of this year, we have more than 200 people in arrears because they've lost their jobs and they can't pay their monthly maintenance.
Correct, yeah.
I'm making a...
Because that's what they're projecting right now.
Yes.
Number one, the banks are willing to help out. I get emails all the time from the banks. The
Not if your
government's
credit's bad.
the government's working on a stimulus program for every man and woman citizen in this country.
$40,000.
Earning less than $78,000 a year.
You'll be able to apply for unemployment if you lose your job due to
Do you
this.
know how many people applied today?
Can we not have a, look,
It's-
this is not a
Well, no,
discussion
point
of the
is, I don't
economy.
think we should
Honey,
be
you're listening.
conservative, though.
That's supposition on your part, though, Mary Lou. You don't know. Yes, it is supposition. You have no idea how many people in this community may or may not lose their job.
No.
And the fact of the matter
And most
is,
of them are retired.
Not anymore. We have a lot of younger owners.
Can I say something? Okay, we say, I drive around and I don't see yet such a severe bad places what will be slippery.
Me either.
I special drive
Just
around in
some
every
sidewalks.
street. I don't see if somebody else, we need a little postpone until we know what is going on. Stimulus check, they will not come maybe between middle of April and it's only $1,000. If you have bills 5,000, how you can, what does it give you? I will pay my due. But some people won't be able. I am absolutely against anything to
Well,
do
I've
right now.
already lost my draw against commission. That's a loss of
Stock
$2,000
market,
a month.
terrible.
$2,000 a month I lost as of Monday.
Don't wait that from government help you.
And we're going to lock the doors to our office tomorrow and only allow UPS, FedEx, and the mailman in. No more walk-ins as of tomorrow. And the next thing she'll do is close down the business. What can she do? She's got more than 20 employees. She's been 35 years family owned and operated.
All this money is in our bank. We've already
I
approved it.
understand, but if we get several hundred people that end up being 90 days late,
I'm not asking.
what is $20,000 going to do for them?
It's not going to do anything. And it's not
it's
going to
not
do anything for
necessary.
us. We've got concrete repairs that are worth a lot more than that we're putting on hold. This is
I understand that.
this is something that we've got to get done to protect ourselves.
And
The concrete, at least we can show that we made an attempt.
I think there are small concrete patches that could be repaired without digging up the whole place. Just a couple of little
Well, there probably are, but like you said, until we know where we're headed,
that's individual items.
this is.
Power wash
I'm
the
just
whole
telling you where you heard it, and if it happens and we get sued, I'll be the first to bring it up to you.
Can I make a motion that we move on this?
Okay,
Well,
I
we didn't
second
pick
the
a
motion
company.
that
Did we pick a company yet to power wash? Did we vote on a company first?
Well, we got to make a motion to move forward first, and then we'll pick the company.
Well, I think everyone would like to know what the 3 bids are and how much before they
We
vote.
could only get 2. That's how busy they are. And one was, well, here,
One was 23,000 and the other was 18,500.
18 and
26,750
$26,750.
for one, and the other one is
18.5, but he'll take off
And we'll get-
$1,000 if he uses our hydrants.
and I know the guy personally. He bought from me at Bears. That's why we was able to get a bid, because he's busy as all get out. He does all these communities in here, and he gave us a bid of 16.5, and I think, or 18.5, and I think I can get it down to 17.
He's already will go 1,000 down, and
The
we're
name
gonna,
of the company is?
I pressure wash, I
The
pressure clean.
letter I.
The letter I, pressure
and
clean.
he also has plans as far as like he can offer as far as yearly maintenance at a like, lesser cost.
But these
Okay,
mosquitoes
there's a
are starting to
motion.
get bad, and they love me.
Randall, is the same company who will we interview? Did we
No, it's not.
interview?
No, that's not the
wait,
same
it's
one.
another.
What is the name of the second company, please?
Pressure Perfection.
Oh, that's the one I got.
That's the
That's the
those are
one
ones
that
who
came to the meeting.
Right, okay, that I have notes on. And he's 26 and change, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this guy gave us an outstanding bid because I told him it better come in good if he wants any business. And he gave us a great bid, and I think I can even get a little more out of him. But I'm not promising it. But at the most, it'll cost us 16.5.
Soon we will have berries.
Somebody
17.5.
divide
17
18.5 by
17.5.
524, please. I don't have my calculator.
What do you mean?
Divide 18,500 by 524, so we know what's costing per unit.
524 never pay together.
35.
A lot of people would not pay.
524 units divided by
Oh, you want to do the other way.
18,500 is what, dear? 35 per unit?
Mary Lou, it's already 100
$33.39 per unit.
To have the entire community power wash.
The
But
entire
Mary Lou,
community.
the 100 people already in red.
That's for the
already.
year.
That's
It
stupid.
did not pay.
Divided by
It means
12,
We
and
were
you
way
get
under that.
yes,
per
we're
month.
there. You can look at aging.
You pay $100 to get somebody to come in and clean your patio.
Why was so
Okay,
so
we have a
rushed?
motion here.
Oh, by the
I
way,
made-
and he will do the walls for free.
He will?
Yeah. Said that's automatic.
Last time we
Like
chose very
that
cheap
wasn't even a
company and
negotiation.
it
That's
did
what
not
he
do
does.
good
He
job.
does it for free. He does the walls.
Mary Lou, you remember last time was cheap
You
company?
mean the
walls on
brick
building.
walls? The brick walls?
Yeah, all the mold and crap that's all over. Yeah.
Yeah.
The brick walls of the units included in this 18.5?
Why do we need?
Because they're nasty mold. I was pressure cleaning them when I was doing the fences because I happened to be right there. Because they're nasty mold on the bottom. You know, the lowest 2 feet or so.
Where the sprinklers hit.
They're nasty, green, black, crap, ugly looking. I would pressure clean them because I was right there doing the fence, so I would just do it. I've got Edva doing it now.
Okay. iClean is the one that has is our low bidder.
Yep.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we select iClean to do the pressure washing that we are looking for the entire community.
I'll second the motion.
Can we-
All in favor?
Aye.
No.
Aye.
No. Unless it's postponed till fall. I don't
Postpone.
know.
Yeah, because we have very soon.
Chris?
Yeah, I don't know. I would vote no, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it doesn't
Did not
pass.
pass.
Motion doesn't carry.
Big mistake.
Probably, or
No, I mean, I can see the numbers that our companies are doing through our analytics software. I just think it's going to get really bad.
And what is that going to do for our budget?
Well, what'll happen is as the companies start making less money, they're going to have to lay off people, or they're going to have to raise capital. And my opinion is going to be is that even with a non-high amount of people losing their jobs, you get less people paying assessments. So if 4% of, for example, if 4% of our 524 residents were to stop, paying their assessments over a 3-month period, that's $20,000. I mean, that's where it becomes useful. If you have more than that, if you have something like 8% over the course of the remaining year, it'd be almost $100,000. I think we have to, as one of the things that was pointed out during the HOA training I had to do, was that as an HOA board member, we have a fiduciary responsibility to the HOA first, over anything else. And that implies that we have a legal obligation to protect it. And in my opinion, that would imply that we have a legal protection to do what we can and foresee first. I just don't see why the delay of this 3 months would make a material difference in the risk of someone having a trip and fall versus someone going over, for example, our lawns. And the downside of that is if 3 months goes by, the likelihood is we could get the same bid. Maybe it ends up being more. Maybe it ends up being more, maybe it ends up being less. But the odds of someone having a trip and fall versus the odds of us, having a very real number of our homeowners, whether or not they lose their jobs even, if, for example, you're going to start seeing probably companies start cutting their dividend rate, and if that's going to affect annuities, it's going to affect what people who are depending on those annuities receive in even if they're not working. And I just think too much risk involved. I know, for example, in our company, we've delayed capital as much as possible because we can, I can forecast through the companies that use our software where their numbers are going to be at, roughly. It's not a perfect estimation, but it, to us, doesn't look like, even if this virus goes away soon, the damage to some of these supply chains is done. And just from a
you apparently don't listen to Donald Trump.
I listen to what the numbers that we get, numbers don't lie.
Well, and that's what Trump goes by, and he said
Yeah.
it's not only going to come back, it's going to come back better than ever. Because a lot of these companies are going to be moving back to this country. So we don't have all these international diseases.
So we have to get this
But
under
okay,
control.
all right. Well, it's been turned on, so meeting adjourned.